welcome to everyone for joining us for our panel here today. We are Fans Assemble, the Avengers Initiative. We're going to talk to you a little bit about our cosplay club. So we are the Avengers Initiative. If you just sat through our first panel, you're going to hear some same information, but that's okay. My name is Jennifer. I'm the executive officer for Southern California. I think at this point, all of California. So we have a head commanding officer who's in charge of the whole deal, and I help him out with just about everything. Recruiting, we do service events, I do all the little paperwork. Every event we go to, there's a spreadsheet that I made, and I'm probably hyper organized and not loud enough apparently. Didn't know me that well apparently.
Do you want this mic? It's pretty loud.
Yeah. No, I don't. But yeah, so I joined the Avengers Initiative about 6 years ago now, and I had just started cosplaying again. I was in my 40s, and I was like, oh, wait, I can give back while I cosplay? Cool, awesome. It helps me justify what I spend on cosplay, which is a fair amount of money every year. So, it's just been a really great way to give back for me, and finding this club has given me no free time. I have it's basically a second full-time job for me with the amount of work I do in the organization, but I love it. I love networking with our hospital partners, with our community partners. So it's been a great joy over the last few years to really been able to be more involved in the club. So I'm going to go down the line here and have everyone introduce themselves. Brian, I'm going to start with you.
Sure. My name is Brian Lee. I've been a cosplayer on and off for, 20 years now. So. But I joined the Avengers Initiative about a year and a half ago, and it's been such an enriching experience to join these lovely people. I'm so glad to have joined them, and I'm happy to be a part of them for as long as they'll have me.
Great. Samantha.
Hi, I'm Samantha. Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, I'm Samantha, also known as Betty Geek on the internet. And I recently joined, 6 months ago? It hasn't been too long, but I've been having a lot of fun doing the things that I've been able to be involved in, meeting a lot of new people, and then getting to talk to other people at conventions as well. I enjoy making costumes, making looks. Maybe they're not exactly like comic accurate or film accurate, but it's what I like to do and what I like to wear. And it's really nice to see when people recognize what you're doing. So it's nice. Something like this, Miss Minutes. It's really hard to sit in, so thank you.
All right, thank you. Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie. I have been cosplaying for it's almost 10 years now. I started off in the vintage community. I loved, vintage dresses, specifically, wartime 1940s. And then kind of the concept of Disney bounding kind of came in to the internet, and so I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I had a friend who would make corsets, so I morphed that into a 1940s Captain America type of thing, and that kind of morphed into the cosplay realm for me. So I still have those. Haven't worn them in a while. Maybe I'll bust them out. But yeah, then it morphed into Captain Carter, a screen accurate First Avenger, red dress Peggy, and we're growing from there. So a lot more to come. Hi, I'm Patty. I'm back for more. Thank you, Laura. So I have probably been cosplaying for the past few years, largely because my brother is the definitive cosplayer in our house and kind of inspired me to do the same. And I joined the Avengers Initiative, maybe almost 2 years ago. And so it's been a really fantastic and awesomely rewarding experience since then. And I hope to continue enjoying the ride.
Awesome, thank you so much. So again, we're the Avengers Initiative, and so we are a community organization of Marvel fans, first and foremost. We use our cosplay to brighten someone's day, whether it's a kid in the hospital, if we're going to help out at a free comic book day, a trunk or treat in the community, things like that. So we do all manner of events. We're not like a paid costume company that goes and does birthday parties and things like that. We have done birthday messages for kids in the hospital, things, but when I say we're a not-for-profit, we aren't even like a registered, we're not a charity, we don't deal with fundraising, we just want to go out and serve our community. One of my favorite things to do is partner with comic book shops for free comic book day. We have a few that we work with. I live in the high desert, and if you're familiar with Southern California, the high desert is a very underserved area, the Inland Empire in general, whether it's medical, financial, everything. It's a very economically depressed area, and when those kids see a superhero walk into an event, they get so excited, and the parents get so excited. We did a few events around Halloween up in the Victorville area, and we had Scarlet Witch and Agatha, which was really fun because the kids weren't sure if they were afraid or they were excited. And then we did Captain Carter, Captain Marvel, and Captain America, and just had a fun time. In fact, I wore Agatha to one of the nights of the event, and when I did a second event as Agatha, this kid marches up to me and he's like, "I know you," and I was like, "Oh, you caught me, kid, sorry." So it's always fun. I mean, the service events are great, of course, in the pediatric visiting hospitals, things like that. But in the community events, it's a little more relaxed. It's a little less stress because there's not sick kids and things like that around. So it's kind of a way we can kind of kick back, still give back to the community, but it's a little more happy in a way. And then we have been very lucky to be invited to do some sort of media events and represent our club at Marvel premieres, some Disney premieres. We have helped out in the past with Run Disney, and we're very excited to learn that those races are coming back to Disneyland next year, and hopefully we'll be able to be involved again in helping, cheering on the runners as they start the race and as they finish the race, which is not something that I can do, so I'm happy to cheer them on to do it. So one thing I want to talk to you guys about, service events. Let's start with that. Again, we go to Shriners. If you were here at our previous panel, we had our representative there. CHOC, Children's Healthcare of Orange County, is a real big one for us that we go to quite often as well. We work with Women and Children's Hospital down in Long Beach. Ronald McDonald House is another big one. And those events, those kids are sick. They're in a hospital. They're getting treatments that some of us, if we've not been through it, you can't even imagine what these families go through on a day-to-day basis. And so we partner with these healthcare organizations to bring a little levity into their day, to cheer them up, to just let them have a break from the monotony of the medical treatments and stuff. So Brian, why don't you tell me about what your favorite service event that you've done with us so far?
Oh, geez, it's hard to pick one, but I mean, they're all so enriching in all their own ways, but I think Colin mentioned it a little bit on the previous panel, the Ronald McDonald Walk for Kids earlier this year. I mean, I know we've done a couple of them, but it was such good fun, especially just seeing the joy on kids' faces and all the adults too. Obviously, it was a big family type of event, and yeah, that one sticks out in my mind as just being such a great time, not just for all the ways that you're bringing smiles to kids' faces, but it was such that one in particular just sticks out to me as a great time with with our friends, and that little dance party we had a bit at the end. There was there was a band there that was I think it was just little kids. I think that I don't know. It was just.
It was like a 12 and 10-year-old band.
Yeah, and they were. And they were so good that I think they were just doing covers, and they were just so good, and we just seeing them light up when they suddenly saw all these Avengers show up and just start dancing in the front row, and it was a good time. So that one sticks out in my mind, the Walk for Kids. Yeah.
We do love to dance.
Yeah, you sure do.
Patty, how about you?
I was going to say Ronald McDonald as well. That definitely sticks out in my mind for multiple reasons. It was like the first outdoor one I'd really done, and to see the scale of it, and definitely the bounce house kid. He's my favorite because he caught myself, my brother and Alice, one of our officers, who were on a break coming back, and he just was so excited. You would have thought it was the best day of his life, seeing my brother dressed as Doctor Strange. While he was running through the bounce house, mid-bounce, stop, and then just start hollering and screaming at the top of his lungs. We initially thought something was wrong. Thankfully it wasn't. But he never left the bounce house, but he started yelling for his mom to come and take photos of us and see Doctor Strange. And I could see Mom starting to try to fumble for her camera, and she was excited, and he was excited, and he's on the edge of the bounce house going like this, trying to get a selfie. And it was the funniest, cutest thing you'd ever see. And honestly, if I could do it all again, I would, because it was such a great memory to have. And it made my day, and it made all of our days just to see that. So that's what we live for in this, getting to do these events, you know? So that for me is definitely the one that sticks out.
Yeah, the Ronald McDonald House Walk for Kids, if you're not familiar with what that is, that's their big fundraiser every year. People participate in teams. There's a lot of corporate teams, and they raise, I think the one I volunteered at one in Fontana, and Alice was there with me and some other members who aren't here today, and they raised like $1.5 million for their Inland Empire Ronald McDonald House, which is a beautiful facility in Loma Linda, right across from Loma Linda Hospital. And it was a cool event, and there's all these, you know, but they pick a family to be like the grand marshals of the event, I guess, but sometimes it's the family that we had for ours, they had lost their child. But they still, all these many years later, were very dedicated to Ronald McDonald House and what Ronald McDonald House gave to their family. But if you're not familiar with them, they give families a place to stay with a kitchen and laundry facilities when their child's in the hospital. So your life's already turned upside down, and you may be far from home. My daughter was born prematurely many years ago. There was no NICU in our area, and they had to take her an hour and a half away to Loma Linda. I did not have to stay at the Ronald McDonald House because thankfully I had family in the area, but I did meet with a representative. The services were offered to me, and I was very lucky because I didn't have to take advantage of that. But I met many families who that was kind of the one thing that kept the rest of their family together, and they try to have activities for them and really normalize the situation as much as they possibly can in what is a very topsy-turvy time for the family. So that one's really important for me. We had 40-mile-an-hour sustained winds during our walk in Fontana, so it was there wasn't so much dancing as like trying not to be blown off your feet. But it was a great event. We had a band, and it's just great to see the community come together and even to be a little part of that and, you know, take pictures with all the kids and the adults. And I think the sheriff's recruiting class, the next class to go through the sheriff's academy, they were all dressed in like superhero type clothes, running in formation, leading the whole pack. And it was just a really cool community event, and it's just nice to see that happen sometimes. As far as a favorite event, I've done too many to pick like a favorite event myself. I feel like I do them all, and if I don't do them all, I'm coordinating them all. They're all great. I think City of Hope Halloween, hey, you made it, yay! City of Hope Halloween, before the pandemic, they do this parade where the kids that are well enough can come out and go trick-or-treating and walk through the area and show off their little costumes, what they might have, and the staff takes care of that. You know, the staff gets to decorate and dress up as well. And we finished with all the kids, and one of the coordinators came up to us, they're like, would you mind terribly just going in the inpatient chemo section for the adults? I have never seen, the adults were probably happier than the kids. They were so excited to take pictures and to see us. And we had a really great Dr. Strange with us that day, one of our members named Jay. And I watched nurses chase him down the hall for a picture. And it gives, like we were saying earlier, it gives the staff a moment of a breather where they're not looking at a chart, answering an alert, things like that. And so it really does kind of tick all the boxes for everybody, which that one to me, watching the nurses react and then the adults when we walk in the room, it was great. So I'm going to pause here and I'm going to let Mike introduce himself real quick.
Hey everyone, first off, sorry I'm late. To answer your first question, yes, it does take that long to look this good. So no. All things considered, I'm Mike Manalo. I've been part of the Avengers Initiative for about 2 years, and I've loved every second of it, quite frankly. This has been the most rewarding fan experience that I've ever had in my life. Just getting to meet people who love Marvel as passionately as I do. I mean, there's nothing in the world like it. Growing up, I did a lot of my elementary and middle school years in Pensacola, Florida, so there's a lot of jocks there, as you guys probably could have guessed because it's Florida. But overall, no, I'm kidding. For those who are out there from Florida, I can't say that we love it, but it was a place. Anyways, that being said, not a whole lot of people loved comics and action figures and X-Men and Avengers as much as I did. So it was kind of tough. So finally having that moment to embrace this with fans and people who think a lot like me, who grew up the same way as I did, it's just amazing. Plus, them giving me the ability to turn into awesome characters like Doctor Strange, Captain America, Werewolf by Night, Moon Knight. I mean, it's just, it's been a thrill. So thank you guys for having me. Sorry about the lateness. And on that note, thank you. No, I'm joking.
Sit back
Thanks,
down.
everyone. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm going to just put you right on the spot and ask you the question I was asking, what's your favorite event that you've done?
Oh, man. Honestly, that would probably be the first event that I ever did, I think, which was Citadel. The California Highway Patrol was asking for volunteers to dress up as the Avengers at the Citadel outlets over on the way to Disneyland on 5. They had a toy drive. They were really encouraging kids to come. I dressed up as Shang-Chi that day, and it was just after the movie had come out. And, there weren't a whole lot of Asian superheroes, just even in the MCU or in general, as everyone here who's a fan probably knows. So to go out there as Shang-Chi and see a lot of Asian kids, little boys and girls shopping at the Disney store, shopping for Christmas presents and stuff, coming up to me and actually recognizing not only that I was Shang-Chi, a very obscure character up to that time, but also that I was an Asian superhero, someone that actually looked like them. That was just an incredible experience. And that kind of changed everything for me, because from that, the rewarding experience and the rewarding feeling that I got from all of that just inspired me to join up for every single event that these guys have put together. And I think this month alone, I'm probably doing 3 in the next week, just because I love it so much. It's the greatest high that you will ever feel, is just having people look up to you and recognize the character and share that love with you, and you sharing it back with them because you loved it growing up, and now they're going to love it forever as well. And they're going to have something to dress up as and look up to in their future too. So we're just creating more and more fans, and that I love. So
Awesome. Thank you
sorry
so
if my
much.
voice is wobbly, it's just because I'm out of breath and I'm really out of shape, which is
ran
the opposite
here,
of what a superhero should be, but still.
The full moon's coming too, so just be aware. So I'm going to direct the similar question, but a little different, because I have 2 members here who are new, one who's very new. So my question to you two, and I'll start with you, Samantha, when you found out about this group, why did you want to join?
Hi, me again. So actually, it's funny how I found out about, that's a great question, Jen. It's funny how I found out about the group. Jen and I have a lot of very similar interests, actually Katie as well. I met them both separately, I think at Disneyland or something, or doing something that we all collectively love. But then I find out that you guys know each other. And then I find out, that everybody here knows each other. And I was like, what the heck? Like, you guys, I met you guys separately. So it was kind of great because the 3 of us share an absolute love for Peggy Carter and Captain Carter and anything Carter. And so that's kind of what bonded us together. And then I find out about the Avengers Initiative. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. I saw your panel last year, actually a year ago.
Yeah.
And it was about cosplaying in general, like the craft of cosplaying and how inclusive it is. It was beautiful. So I really, really learned more about this organization, ironically, from a panel like this. And I really wanted to join because I love volunteering. And I wanted a way to also be able to explain to my family as an adult why I'm doing things like this in the middle of the night. And they don't get it, because I love being crafty as well. But this way, I also feel good about giving back to others. It means a lot to me, and very similar to the whole theme of our panels today about being able to bring some joy to somebody's life, even if for a brief moment, and having that recognition and sharing the love of a fandom or characters, or striking up conversations about how you put your work into your cosplays, or the love of the character and what it means to you in your personal life. It's great the way we can connect with others in that way.
Awesome. Thank you. Katie. Why did you finally give in to me bugging you? Did you know?
Just a few months of that, but no, it didn't take any begging. You know, a lot of what Samantha said, and it's funny, I met you in a Peggy group probably years ago.
Yeah.
And we finally started talking in the past few years, and then met you in line for Thor.
Yes.
At Heroes
We love Thor.
After Dark.
We actually physically met in person in line for Black Widow and Hawkeye at the same event.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so within an hour of each other, or minutes actually, but,
Yes, thank you.
yeah,
Minutes.
there you go. So, I wanted to join this, not only because, everything that you told me about it, but, being a daughter of a first responder, you have that call to serve, but maybe not like the gross stuff, like there's some really challenging stuff, and I did not want to do that, but you have that servant spirit in you. And so I'm like, well, this seems like a perfect opportunity because I get to do what I love, but also help people. And, once I started getting to know more of the events, I had the privilege to go with you to some of the media events. It's like, you know what, this is a really cool group, but also a really great group of people. And I've met so many formally this weekend, and I'm excited to get to know everybody else, as we go along. So, I've only been in the group for like a month. Yeah. So it's fresh. This is my first event. So, yeah.
And it would seem odd maybe to some people, you have someone who's brand new on your panel, but no, I wanted that perspective of kind of still from the outside, like what was it about the group that drew you? Because we all know that have been doing this for a while, what we love about it, but that doesn't tell us what we look like from the outside and from someone who's new. So, that was the perspective I really wanted for this service event, just because, or for this service event, oh, geez, see, for this panel. So, another part, like I was mentioning earlier, is community involvement. It doesn't always have to be going to a hospital. And some of what we discussed in the service panel is that can be very emotionally difficult, and that's not for everybody, and we recognize that. And that's why we have events that aren't necessarily requiring you to go and visit children who are ill, families who are, in a situation that you just can't imagine yourself in. And you do go around the corner and cry, or you just go sit and put your head in your hands in your car when you're all done and you let it all out, but you find a way to hold it in while you're in there for those kids. And that's why I love some of the community events that I've been reaching out to find for our group to do. Free Comic Book Day is a big one. It's always a great draw to have superheroes outside your comic book shop, kind of waving people in. Of course, there's free comics to give out, but they want people in the door to come and find their store and come back and come back and come back. And so it's creating that sense of community and, hey, this place is fun. And, they have a giant, what did we have outside of the House of Secrets? We had Hulkbuster, a 7-foot Hulkbuster, who doesn't want to stop and see what that's all about, right? We have some really amazing creative people in here that have a Hulkbuster. They have a 7-foot, 8-foot tall Groot and other large costumes like that are really eye-catching. So why not use those to bring attention to who we are and what we do, and find more people who have that same like-minded spirit that want to come out and give back to their community that way. Halloween is obviously another big one. Holidays, all the holidays really. With Shriners, we were there for Valentine's Day, Easter, Halloween, probably some made-up holidays in the middle of the year that don't really exist. We're just back to school. We do a lot of back to school stuff. And it's just it's a fun way to dress up, go out there, hang out with the community, then you get recognized at the next event, which is really kind of odd. And it's fun because we were talking about how like the kids in the medical settings, they believe it that moment you walk in the door, oh my gosh, Spider-Man's here. Okay, community events, it's not exactly that way. We were at an event and Colin was dressed as Captain America, and this kid's like, you're not Captain America. And he's like, go home and watch a movie and come back. Tell me what you think. And the kid was like, oh yeah, okay. He wasn't wrong, but he also wasn't right. He's dressed as Captain America. That's not Jason Voorhees over there, but you're not challenging him, But it's a fun way to get involved in the community. So the other one we do, like I said, is holiday events. We're going to do a series of 5 events over 3 days for St. Jude's for their employee appreciation. Medical staff works 24/7, round the clock. And they asked us, hey, we're having a superhero-themed appreciation this year. Can you come out, hang out, meet our staff. Not the kids, you know, they're staff that works overnights, works, you know, the middle of the worst, you know, part of the day. And so we're going to be there from all parts of the day, not overnight, but, you know, it's a great way to really, to jump in and get involved with appreciating the people who do the hardest jobs out there, I think. So to community events, I'm pretty sure most of us, I know you two to my left, you have done Free Comic Book Day, and I think you did a comic book signing. Did you guys participate on Free Comic Book
Yeah.
Day as well? Yeah.
Cookie Nerd.
So what is it like, not necessarily that specific event, but I'll start with you, Brian, when it's not a medical setting, just going out in the community, what's your favorite part of that type of community involvement?
Well, I mean, just because you know, when it's just kind of open to the community in that way, you know, you just get so many different types of people. You get the kids, you get the adult, you get the whole families together. And they're, you know, obviously, you know, you have your kids who may believe that you actually are those heroes, but then just as much, you know, we're all Marvel fans here, and they're just as much the adults. It's like, oh my God, this is Avengers, you look awesome, and bringing that kind of joy to all sorts of different types of people is part of what's fun about those environments where you're doing, you know, these service events for Free Comic Book Day, or there was, I know there was the Pride event at the Perky Nerd recently, where we got to be as DC heroes for that. You know, like what we talked about in the previous panel bit, how, like, you know, sometimes we get those opportunities to kind of pull into other areas within our cosplay arsenal and have fun at those, you know, kind of those kind of events. So it's always good fun, especially with some of these, like the Free Comic Book Day locations, some of the staff that we work with at these shops that bring us along for these events. They're always wonderful to work with. So, yeah, you know, obviously, you know, and obviously, some of these events are a little bit more joyous, you know, as opposed to, you know, I mean, not to take anything away from the service events at hospitals, but, you know, those are the kind of events where you need to kind of prepare yourself for and can be emotionally racking. And so, like the Free Comic Book Day events are a nice respite and a nice way to interact with so many different types of people.
Yeah, definitely. I think that covers kind of all the community events. So I want to just pause here a little bit and talk about kind of cosplay backgrounds. So, Mike, I'm going to start with you because you have this fancy makeup on, which I've actually, you know, I wish you were here yesterday in that because I was in Jen Walters and we've encountered each other like that before. So, you know, what is your favorite costume personally, and what do you think is your most popular costume at these service events?
Perfect. Yeah, first off, this makeup that I put on today, this is just what I look like every day. This is just what I go to work in. No, but honestly, my favorite costume that I've ever put together, honestly, was a more recent one. It was for Moon Knight. The best thing about it is it doubles as two costumes. I can remove the hood and put on the other a suit and be Mr. Knight. But more than that, that is a difficult costume. If you guys watch the show, there's like wrappings all over it and everything like that. It is not an easy one to make. And what I was going off of was, this was before the show came out, so I had no idea what they did and what it was really going to look like and everything. Everything out there that was on the internet looked absolutely wrong. So anyways, what I ended up just doing was grabbing the tiniest screenshot that I could, enhancing and trying to put it together, and worked about 3 weeks to you know, use all these different mediums, clay and bandages and paint and everything like that, to absolutely wreck a, you know, motocross armor plate. And at the end of the day, when I put it on, I was like, you know what? This actually looks pretty good. I kind of liked it. I was super happy with it. I love rocking it everywhere, and whenever I put it on, you know, I feel pretty awesome. And then I start walking in it, and things start falling off, and I'm like, this is a bad idea. Why did I do this? No, but I still love that costume to this day. And every single time that I try and put it out, despite how fragile it is, I'm always looking for ways to build it and improve it and everything. I feel like I answered one part of your question. What was the other part?
When you do service event, what is the costume you wear that gets the most
popular
response?
one.
Yeah.
Of course, kids. Moon Knight I wouldn't recommend for younger kids, obviously, right? It's a little heavier.
A little dark.
But I love that kids respond to Shang-Chi, and kids respond to Spidey. But I think Doctor Strange. Oh my God. Actually, best story ever. We went to a Ronald McDonald House.
Patty, let him know you
Charity,
told this
like-
I
story.
did tell it,
It was, oh, you told it already?
and the other witness is standing at the back of the room over there.
Well, this kid was just yelling, Mom, it's Doctor Strange.
He thought the sky was
And
falling.
it was awesome. It felt really good. So that was really cool. And the best part was we didn't have to run. I just like waved at everyone, going like, "Ha, suckers!" And then Ant-Man as well got a huge response. I think kids really respond to Ant-Man. Kids really respond to Spider-Man. It's because these are heroes that fight for the little guy. In Ant-Man's case, literally as well. But they love that. They respond to it. You feel like a real hero when you're actually in these costumes, and when kids come up to you and look up to you and stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's a blast. But
Yeah. Yeah, Mike does have an excellent Moon Knight. And actually, Mike, myself, Mark, and Christina, Alice, you did as well. So with Shriners. So not only do we work with the Children's Hospital, we work with the foundation themselves. And they actually asked us to come in, and they did kind of like a thank you video that was a thank you to us, but a thank you to their membership as well. And I was thinking like, okay, if I don't like being on video, I don't like hearing my own voice, contrary to what it might sound like today. But so we did this video, and I'm like, that's fine. No one I know is ever going to see this. The gala happens, I get a text message. Oh my gosh, you won't believe what I just saw. And I was like, great. So one of my friends happened to have been invited to that gala. But and then when we went to an event recently, again at Shriners for Halloween, walk in the door, and this little blonde lady walks by, and I looked at her, and I was wearing Captain Carter, which what I had done my interview in, and she walks up, and she's like, oh, and she's like the director of Shriners for Southern California, just gives me this big hug, and I was like, yep, that's why I spend the money, I spend the time, I spend the driving time, because I live in the desert, the high desert, and I have to drive everywhere. And, everyone's like, why do you do it? That's why I do it. Because at the end of the day, someone remembers that we came in and we made a difference. And so, that's such a wonderful part of it. Katie, you talked a little bit about your love of vintage. Sam, why did you make Miss Minutes here? What?
It's a great question. Because I wanted to be the first one to make a Miss Minutes outfit like this. Thank you. No, but also because of the vintage style, like it just was so cute. Miss Minutes is so cute.
She is.
But right before Loki came out, everyone was speculating, like she's like this mysterious character. It looks so different, and she just stands out. She's so cute.
She is.
So I bought a hula hoop during the summertime. I believe Loki came out like in June. During the summer, I made sure to buy a hula hoop, and I was like, no, we're doing this. I'm not going to back down, because I had this idea for, like, since I saw the art of her. So I bought the hula hoop during the summer. Had to be like the right size and everything. I took out the little shaky bits, and then in the back here, it's not like the best job, but had to design like these straps, and it goes over like a, thank you, it goes over like an apron. But when I first went and took this out, I have to say, because I like made this, it's like mostly glue, I was a little embarrassed to first step out and wear this. I'm like, is this too ridiculous? Like, this feels so cheesy. But then as soon as I stepped foot onto the floor, oh my God, Miss Minutes. And then people come up and take photos. Like, I was really, really surprised. It was so nice. Like, anytime anybody says anything about something I make or I'm wearing, like, if they like it, it just means seriously so much to me, because it's fun and I enjoy it. So, thank you.
Yeah, and it's a great costume. I think you wore it last year here.
I did.
At our panel.
Yes, Jen, I'm an outfit repeater, but
I was wearing this. It's fine.
no,
When
but
you
it
spend
got
that
a lot
much
of
on a
attention.
costume, whether it's time or
Yeah.
money, wear it as much
Yeah,
as you
exactly.
like.
Exactly.
And Brian, you were part of our cosplay panel last year. What do you find about being part of a group like this that helps and support you with choosing new costumes, enhancing your costumes, maybe creating a new prop?
Oh, I mean, so this kind of caters to something I get asked all the time from people who aren't cosplayers and are very trepidatious about getting into it because, I can't, especially since, as we all know, we've been seeing like more and more people get into cosplay, and in recent years, people with incredible means, incredible skills do incredible stuff. So I understand a lot of people feel trepidation about like, I don't have this skill, I don't know how to do all this and that, I can't sew, I can't do this and that, and like, cosplay communities are all about sharing resources too, and being a part of this community of Marvel costumers who all bring to the table their skills oh, I can do this thing, I can do this thing, or even like there's absolutely no shame in buying a costume and maybe even like, finding ways to sort of enhance it, make it your own, So that's part of what's been great about a community of great friends like this who share a common interest in specifically Marvel cosplay, but also just cosplay in general. We all get to kind of contribute to each other, to help each other out, to help us, or even just give ideas like, oh, this is what I did for this piece of this costume. Maybe I suggest using, like I don't know, just any sort of like just creative idea, like Alice amazed me recently with her idea of using, like for her Sorsha costume, using rivets made out of googly eyes, things you wouldn't think, but then, oh my God, that looks so great, So that's what I love so much about these cosplay communities is that, not any one person has all the ability to do all this, but together as a team, we can help each other out and make ourselves the best costume that we can make,
And we absolutely made her shake her head to hear the eyes rattle in the helmet.
Googly eyes.
Glue them down, paint over them, you're good to go. It really did, because she sent me the photo. I'm like, why do you have a bowl of googly eyes on your craft table? And I never made the connection that that's what she had made the rivets from. So it was ingenious. I'm a crafty person in certain ways. I'm not a crafty person in that way, and it would have never occurred to me. So I thought that was fabulous. And that's the kind of thing, is you'll see someone do something, and it's not about copying what someone else is doing, step for step, design by design, but we want to share with each other. We want to build each other up. We want to improve on, hey, I have this costume, but I really don't like how this part of it fits. And then someone's like, oh, you can do this. So it's fun to cosplay by yourself and come to a con and you get recognized and take pictures with. It's so much more fun to cosplay with a community that that, oh, it's 11 p.m. the night before an event. Let me just message Alice because I have this question. And I am a terrible sewer, but I have people who are willing to help me learn to be better at that. It's not ever going to happen, but we're going to work on that. So, another big, kind of not big part, it's something we've been very lucky to do. It's not a big part of what we do. We have been blessed to be invited to certain media events. So Run Disney was one I mentioned earlier. While that's a service event, it's a media event, of course, because there's a lot of cameras around. We have been invited to certain Marvel premieres for the different movies and things like that, and I think everyone up here has had that experience. So it's not anything any of us ever expect. Like, please, I started cosplaying when I was 42 years old, and I never in a million years, if you had told me that I was going to get to go to any red carpet, anything, I would assume it would be a restaurant that had red carpet, maybe something like that. So it's just one of those things where, Alice and I'll have a conversation very often. Is this my life? Like, what's going on? But it's a lot of fun, right? So I'm going to go back down to Patty. And Patty, tell me, what was your favorite experience at a media event?
Oh, goodness.
Just one,
Most recently, I think for sure, seeing Wakanda Forever actually was one of them. That was because of the amount of work I had to do with that cosplay. I did Namora from Talokan, and so that, just to see how much the impact that movie had culturally on people, and to see the effect of the late Chadwick Boseman on that entire group, their entire community, like their entire cast and crew, was nothing short of spectacular. Plus, it didn't hurt that halfway through they were like, Rihanna's here. And I was like, what? Where? Down the end of the carpet. And we were all trying to see. But just to see culturally, like, that's one of my favorites. And Namora, that one, speaking to your point about creativity and community, like, and cosplay community, that costume was a lot of work because she's blue, in case you didn't see. And not to mention, she has these giant lionfish like fins and spines on the top of her head. So that took a couple of weeks of just forcing me to come out of my comfort zone and think out of the box, and then how to build that costume. Even my brother was like, are you seriously gonna be blue? And I looked at him and went, I have to find a way around this. And by the end of it, all that to say it was worth it, because she's one of my favorite costumes, just because like I said, when you put something like this together and you see, the effect of like what it looks like and your version of it, it's actually really like rewarding. And then to add to the community aspect of it, there was another cosplayer online who did Namora, and I was literally, I think the worst part of it for me was trying to figure out how to do the lionfish spines because they don't sell those.
No?
Obviously. And she had this really simple, she was good enough to put it on social media how she designed hers. And when you see it, the process is more difficult than it appears to be, but the materials themselves were just really simple and you didn't think about it and it never would have occurred to me. And I was just so grateful to see her having put that resource on there, because myself and other people who were like, how do you even attempt to begin to build a headpiece like this? Like I was beyond grateful. So that like event alone was just the impact in seeing how much, like not just from a movie culture perspective, but how it touches their communities, how it shapes people, and the impact that he had as an actor on them was nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, that was an emotional one for sure. How about you, Brian?
Oh, I mean, what sticks out most in my memory is the first one I had the privilege to attend, which was the Shang-Chi premiere. I mean, for all the reasons that Mike kind of touched upon earlier about how, the lack of Asian representation as superheroes, to finally have that that character in, an Avenger no less, that we could dress as, and just especially just seeing, just I mean, just to be there to see like all the incredible joy that particularly amongst the Asian American community, to see that kind of representation, not just on screen but behind screen and there at the premiere as well. Like I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say other than this, that sticks out in my memory the most as just an event that just meant so much to me, and just being there with all my fellow Shang-Chi brothers, and it was so great. And yeah, and it's honestly such a privilege that we even get the chance to be able to enjoy some of these events. It was something I'll never forget, really, for days to come. And other events that we've been able to get the privilege to attend has been nothing but a privilege and a joy. So. Yeah, absolutely. But Shang-Chi, oh my God, it meant so much to me to be there. It was a joy.
Awesome. And now, without picking on anyone, does anyone else have a favorite moment from one of the media events that they went to?
I really loved Hawkeye.
It was fun.
Oh yeah.
Hawkeye was the first real, I mean, if you want to consider Iron Man 3, not really, but like holiday Marvel project. And so that was really cool. It was themed out. There were Christmas trees all at the red carpet, but it was really, really cool to see Marvel in that situation, because you never got to see it. What the last superhero movie having Christmas was Batman Returns, really. So it's been a while. So it was just such a fun time to see, and they even had like fake snow. Like the bubbles came down at the end of the night, and it was just so beautiful. And they encouraged us to cosplay as our characters, but as a holiday. Like, it was Christmas, so like I was like a Christmas Doctor Strange, and instead of having the lights, around my wrist, it was garland. And then I had my Eye of Agamotto, and I stuck Christmas lights in there, because the time zone didn't matter. It was all about Christmas lights. So that was just such a festive time, and we need more holiday themed.
We left garland
They need to do more.
everywhere we went.
Oh, there's probably still garland where we sat.
Sure, it's still there. I made a Rogers the Musical ugly Christmas sweater that has now been retired because it lives up to its ugly name. But yeah, that was a fun event, because it was just Christmas, and you walked out, and the other thing I like that they do for their holiday or their end of year type events, they did it for Disenchanted, I believe, was they do a toy drive. So they ask all us cosplayers, hey, you're coming to this, bring a toy, and it's with the Toys for Tots that the Marine Corps does. Yeah, so that, it's really cool, because they don't have to invite cosplayers to them, but they know that we're the fans, that we give them a good background, right? We're on the live stream, if you watch, of course, screaming cosplayers, that's what everybody wants to see, right? It's definitely not. But it's cool that then they give us another opportunity and then bring a toy. Well, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to bring a toy. So, you know, it's cool the opportunities that we get, and then I like that they kind of remind us, hey, and now we're going to give some more back. So I do like that. And then how about for you, Samantha?
So I've been lucky enough to be able to attend a few media events as well, and they've all been just a blast. They're so fun. The energy's high. It's just a good time. But one moment does stick out to me, which I think because I was most surprised. It was like the least costumey thing I had, which was a version of Rogue from an early 2000s animated series. And it just like, at first glance, I used to have like Rogue hair too. I miss that. But I used to have it like bleached, yeah, maybe again one day. And I'd walk by somebody and they're like, oh shoot, you're Rogue. Like a couple of times. I did like a double take. It was fun. It was a good time. And that was for Ms. Marvel, the series, which I love that series. And it was such an honor to be sitting in that theater, hearing all of the creators and anyone that was involved in the production or people that saw themselves on screen for once. And it was just really cool. I'm getting chills thinking about it because it was really impactful and really special to just be a guest there to take part in that. It was awesome. Also, I love that show. Like, not enough people talk about it, but I love that show.
We're all waiting for New Jersey AvengerCon to actually happen.
Yes.
I don't know if I want it in New Jersey, I'll be frank, but.
We need the West Coast version too.
California AvengerCon. There you go.
And I think that's another thing that I've gained a better appreciation for as far as this club goes is look at the representation Marvel has given to people who don't have that representation in the media to be, widely to begin with. It's just been such a joy to see the different characters pop up, and it makes it that much better when we go into a hospital, right? And like Mike was talking about, and like Brian's touched on, and Patty, that they see, you can tell that, yeah, they might like Captain America, they might like all the other superheroes, but they see themselves in the superhero now, and they can be that superhero. And that's just it's been amazing, and to watch this group grow into a more diverse group as well, and really be able to represent the community when we go out into it has been something that I've been really proud to be a part of and to see happen. And the premieres are fine, and the different little media events and even the community events are fine. But I think at the end of the day, and I know that I've had this conversation with members before, if I came up to you, Patty, and I said, okay, here's your choice. You can do a media event or a hospital event, but you can only do one kind. What would you pick?
Hospital event.
Yeah.
Service event.
Yeah.
As it is.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what we get to do. While that's fun, it's not a reason to join a group like this. That's not the point of the group. The point of the group is to give back to the community and to share your cosplay building gifts that you have, and your sewing, and your knowledge of vintage and different types of makeup and things like that. Everyone at this table sitting next to me is on this panel because they bring something to the table that is individual and unique and special, and that's what I've loved about this group and building this group. And so before, as we wrap up, does anybody have any questions from the audience? I can talk to these guys anytime. How do you join? Well, we have this QR code on the floor with Maria Hill recruiting you to join the Avengers Initiative. So what we look for in a member is somebody you just have to have one good Marvel costume, recognizable. We have a gal we've been trying to recruit for 4 years now. Nice blonde gal. We're like, Mark tells her, get some scrubs, get a laundry basket. You're Sharon Carter from Winter Soldier. She has a beautiful Supergirl. She has amazing Disney princesses. But to get in the door, you just need that one Marvel costume. If you never wear it again, awesome. That's super cool. And we'll ask a couple questions on that form. What do you want? What is this? What are you interested in getting out of this? And what do you bring to the table? You could just say, I like to cosplay and I want to make people smile. Or you could be a master sewist. We have a gal on the group who is a master sewist and does amazing, beautiful costumes. And that's all well and good. I buy everything because that's my skill. Enabling people to buy things. Mike, Patty, and I are this terrible trilogy of that.
Yeah. It's facts.
Actually, the rest of you are pretty bad at it too. We're good at it. I don't know. So, we're a big group. We want to be bigger. We want people who love this as much as we do. So that's what it takes, is a heart for service and a Marvel costume. It's pretty basic, Yeah. Or a shield agent. Be a shield agent. We need people to take pictures. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyone else real quick? Sure, Mark, what don't you know about the group?
Initiative officially associated with
No, we're not.
Marvel or Disney?
We're not officially affiliated with Marvel or Disney. They're very well aware of us. So, like, because I have had people have concerns about our branding. Nope, we are good to go. So, yeah, we are not officially affiliated. We are our own wonderful entity. So, all right, it looks like they're giving us the gong. So, thank you guys very much.